Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing today? Hope you guys are having a wonderful, great, and amazing day. Today is another wonderful day in Quantum Family. We have an Emmy Award winner journalist, Diana Montaño. She has worked for many, many big chains, many big networks, Univision, many to name. And we are very, very grateful to have it with us. So, hi, Diana. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Thank you very much for the invitation.
Awesome, awesome. Well, as you guys know, we are Quantum Family. We are a community that of three writers who we get together to help others and motivate others through our experiences, okay? So let me just go ahead and introduce my co-host. So we have Dayani Peñalosa. Dayani Peñalosa has written no one, two, but three books about motherhood. She's an expert. She is residing right now in Spain. And so, hello, Dayani, how are you?
Thank you, Javier. Hello, Quantum Family. Hello, Diana.
Awesome. And we also have our own Debbie DiMaggio. Debbie DiMaggio is a real estate professional who works in the San Francisco area and all the way down to Beverly Hills. And I know because we work together there. You know, she's a philanthropist, she's an author, she's a writer, and right now she has her fourth book just came out, Beauty at Any Age. Because you can get a beauty at any age, thebook.com. How are you doing, Debbie?
I'm great. Thank you for the lovely introduction as always. Hi, Diani and Diane and Quantum Family. Great to see everyone today on this Friday afternoon.
Awesome, awesome. Well, like I said, today we're having an important guest and we're gonna have an amazing subject, which is depression. You know, that's something that everybody probably has experimented once upon a time. So let's go ahead and get started with Debbie. Please, Debbie.
It's interesting. I actually just was in town and I ran into a friend I haven't seen in a long time. I mean, a really long time. And it was just a quick little chat, but one of the things that came up almost immediately was how she felt depressed. And it's not usual that you would see someone after years and years and the first thing, you know, within the first couple sentences, they would speak of depression. And neither myself or her have ever really experienced depression. And I would say me, like other people, and even people who do have serious issues with depression, it's kind of hitting a lot of people. So my question to you is, with COVID and just in general, and so much depression going on right now, what are some of the tools that we could use to cope with depression at this time?
Well, Debbie, I think it's something that is really affecting us, everybody, anywhere. It's not just the pandemic, but the consequences of this. For example, losing your job, losing family members, losing friends. It's an insecurity war, basically. I think everybody seems insecure. We do not know what's going to happen. Are we going to have a vaccination ready for the end of the year? I'm going to be able to get the vaccination. There's other ways to keep myself safe in this horrendous pandemic world that we're living. I think nobody in the wildest dreams thought that we will have something like this. I am not an expert. I'm just a journalist that I have worked so many years listening to very, 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 very sad stories about depression, schizophrenic, panic attacks, mental issues. I think it's a very important moment now to start really speaking about depression and this mental sickness. September is the month for the suicide prevention. And I will say that the first step to cope with depression is acknowledging that you have depression. You know what I mean? That you really are depressed, that you're really it's not something that is just a sadness or one day that you feel bad. It's a series of days that you are feeling bad, sad, that you cannot control. In these days, I start speaking about it because of the suicide of a very well-known Mexican actor. And I wrote something about it on Facebook, and I received so many messages from people that I don't even know, through my website, through the Facebook page, through Instagram, telling me that, hey, listen, I feel the same way, but I've been so ashamed to talk about it. What can I do? Where do I look for help? There's a lot of resources for free. I think if something is good coming out of this pandemic is that every single human being is trying to help. I believe that everybody now is more aware of we need to help each other in the way that we can to cope with the situation. So listening to the people, talking about it, giving a phone number. Here, there's a doctor that you can go and visit and see if he can help you out. I think that those are basically the most important steps to try to get out of this depression.
So acknowledge it and seek help or seek guidance and speak to a doctor. I agree, there are a lot of resources out there, and that reminds me we got to share that on all of our social medias to let people know, because you never know, when it's such a sad topic.
Really, it is super sad. I know it, and you know what? It's important. I think that's the most important thing, to recognize that it's a sad situation, mm-hmm. and that it is okay to cry about it. It is okay to vent about it. It is okay to talk to your husband, your friend, your family. When I had a very bad episode of depression, when I lost a job that was one of the most beautiful jobs that I had in a very big network. And when I lose that job, I felt like all my success was falling down. You know what I mean? Like all my exit or my success, everything that I have worked for was gone. So that feeling, even that I have a husband, kids, house, and everything, it was so difficult for me to cope with. Thank God at that moment I had a husband, and he really helped me a lot to go and seek for help. And my mother, that used to have depression, talked to me too. She was in Mexico, but she called me and she was like, hey, listen, just go to a doctor. And I was like, well, no, I don't think I should go to a doctor. I think I'm okay. I'm not a crazy woman. I'm okay. I'm okay. And you were not okay, I was not okay.
No, I totally agree with you. It's very, very important, especially after you lose something. Actually, I wrote my book, Hijo del Universo, about the cancer diagnosis. I wrote it because I was diagnosed with cancer and I had to deal with it, and everything that I went through, everything I learned, and your life changes. I mean, I was a real estate professional in Beverly Hills. Next thing I know, I turn around and I am getting radiation, for my body. I'm fighting for my life. So I totally get it. I know where you're coming from. So I guess one of my questions for you would be, any resources that you recommend for those dealing with even getting their health back, or, maybe
Well, basically, I will say go to the suicide line, hotline. There's a lot of resources in the websites, actually in the internet, online. You can only put free psychology, free help, free. Why I'm saying it free? It's not because it's free, but right now there's a lot of people really helping a lot of other people. Basically, psychologists, therapeutics, doctors saying, hey, just call me for free. You feel that you are getting sick. I could probably send you some phone numbers or websites that you can put on your social media, like Debbie was saying, and people can go directly there. I am not able to recommend per se, because like a doctor or a specific psychologist, but I think that's the best way to do it, because we are not experts, we are not doctors, we're not psychiatrists. So people must understand that depression, panic attacks, schizophrenia are really big problems that you can look for help, and there is help, there is resources, there is a lot of ways to cope with that. Basically going to a doctor, first of all, and then he can help you decide Some people has to take medication. Some other people do not need to take medication. I had to take medication. During 3 different periods of my life that I had depression, I had to take antidepressives, basically, and anxiolytics, because I was like, imagine my mother was dying basically from cancer in Mexico. I was living here. I was working 3 jobs as a reporter in different stations, and it was very difficult. You know, you feel guilty, you feel you are abandoned, your family. I was feeling I needed to be there, but I cannot be there. So I was having attacks basically at night, the panic attacks, like, oh, my mother is dying, I'm not there. You have to cope with that. And medication it was the only way for me.
You are so right on point. I do remember my very first panic attack. That was right after the diagnosis. And yeah, I had to do a lot of self-digging, self-learn, because I lost it. I just lost it one day. And it was a learning experience, you know. We also have with Diane, with her book, Superpoderes de Mamá, our expert in motherhood. I know she has very good questions for you. So Diane, please go ahead.
Well, Diana, my first question for you is, has it always been easy for you to express your emotions all loud? Or perhaps are you a person who usually deals with your problems in silence?
No, as you can see, I'm an extrovert. I'm always talking and speaking, and I'm a writer too. I have a blog where I write about many topics, and for me, it's easy to speak about. Anything that happens to me, I mean, of course, not every single thing. I'm not gonna say, hey, today I couldn't pay my rent. No, I'm not gonna say it. But things that are really important that I believe that can help other people. Problems with maternity, for example. I love your books because I think they're a very good resource, you know, a tool to help mothers in this process of being a mother. It's difficult being a mother, and just being a mother in the pandemic. And now you also have to be a teacher, and you also have to be, I mean, it's a lot. The other day I was talking to my boss. We were talking, and he had like 3 kids yelling around him. He was trying to be serious. It was difficult. So I believe that speaking, it's a great way to get attention and to get help. For the people that are introverts, that's the situation it could be dangerous. So if you have people that do not speak, your friends, your mother, father, even your husband sometimes. My ex-husband was very quiet. It was difficult for me, but are you sad? No. And you were looking at me that he was like that. You know? Well, if you're not sad, then you're sick because something has happened to you. What's happening to you? Tell me. Nothing. Then you cannot help that people. It's a very difficult situation. Hopefully with these talks, these kind of talks that you guys have, people can be more aware. Hey, don't be ashamed of having a depression. Don't be ashamed of having panic attacks. Now, see, every single day I speak with someone, oh, my last panic attack was, so everybody has panic attacks. But we didn't want to say it because it makes us look like crazies, vulnerables, maybe you have mental issues, and that's not true. We need to eradicate that thinking, you know what I mean? Like that specific thinking that people that has depression is people that are crazy, that they are not strong enough. That's another thing. We're being raised to be strong, don't cry, don't show your emotions, try to be this woman, the superpower woman. And we are not. We're just men and women that sometimes get depressed.
Totally agree with you. I could not agree more. So Debbie, please go ahead.
Yeah, so my father-in-law actually committed suicide after he was released from the hospital. He had depression years ago, and then he went into the hospital years later, and he got out too soon and stopped taking his medication and committed suicide. Does depression run in the family, and is there anything else you could share on that?
Yes, in my case, my mother and my grandmother, they both were depressed. So, but see, my grandmother she was born in 1917. So just imagine, at that time, they didn't understand what was depression, you were sad. That was not part of your vocabulary. Basically, that's the life, it's life. Hey, get over. So she didn't have any help. Really, it's so sad. If we think about it, it's like they were feeling these emotions, these feelings. So imagine living with sadness all your life, not getting any help, and just thinking, well, that's the way it is. But I'm the only one sad here. Everybody's laughing and I'm sad. And probably another people were sad as her, whatever. Then my mother had a very big episodes of depression, but she was able to look for help. So it runs on the family. There's a lot of families that have a genetic thing on depression. I had it. I'm not going to speak for other members of my family, but the other members of my family had depression and panic attacks, hallucinations. Imagine it's your mind playing games with you. And you can be a professional, you can be no drugs ever, no nothing. It's just your obviously there's something that triggers that, like something happened to you. For example, when I lose my job, or when I got divorced, or when my mother died, there's those 3 episodes on my life were very difficult for me to deal with by myself. So thank God, at that time I have a husband, then I had friends. On my divorce, I have my 2 divorce guides. 2 friends that were really, like, they already went through the process, that they were telling me, it's going to happen this. And when they saw me crying, I said, listen, just go to a doctor and get your medicine. And that's going to help you be clear in your mind what are you going to do. You have to take care of your kids. You have to keep working. It's so difficult. It's like coping with the death. I will say that. I will even say that. When you lose somebody that you love, you feel it's difficult to live. It's the same when you have a depression problem. It is the same.
Yes, totally right. My background is in psychology, and when I was in psychology, part of my social work was to work the suicide line. And that was one of the things that the very first thing that we learned is that in depression or in suicidal especially, you need to open up your sight, because you have a tendency to do what's called tunnel vision, and that tunnel vision is what's gonna drag you down. So I absolutely love that advice. Thank you. And I can only imagine that in your line of work, especially, you probably see people going through very, very hard times. So my question to you is, how do you mentally prepare, or physically maybe, when you're about to, to go do a note? And of course, has any note that you will go like mark a before and an after in your life?
Oh, yes, definitely. And I really appreciate that question, because I think reporters are being like, that be that reporter. But it's a very difficult job we have. And I am one of the reporters that have covered a lot of crime in Miami. Actually, I think that's my specialty, covering crime. And yeah, crime, domestic violence, missing children. And I have had so many difficult experiences. I think there's nothing more sad than talking to a father that just lose a child from a violent crime. And you'll deal with the family. The family tells you, hey, we're looking for my son, please help us. And then you have to report, hey, they found the son that is dead. You involve yourself with the family. You are in their homes. They have you drink coffee with them. They tell you the stories. They show you the pictures. And then you find out that this poor kid has been murdered, for example, that had happened to me. And it's super sad. How do we deal with? I think it's part of your training, Every single day that I go to do a story and has to involve that, first of all, I try to be very respectful and just say, listen, you're going to try to do your best. And hopefully you can do the best to, help that person. And then try to to live your life. As usually when I go to a very sad situation, after I have that report, I talk to my cameraman, we joke about other things, or we go to eat and try not to talk about it, because it's super difficult, because also you have to be involved, and then you have to separate yourself to do your story, to report, to interrogate the police department, to interrogate other people that are involved. So I will say that it's training and having the best attitude, and then after that, remembering that it's a job like a doctor. I cannot even imagine a doctor having a child dying in their arms, in their care. And then after that, they go and take coffee, drink, and watch TV. Because life is that way, unfortunately. That's the way life it is.
But yeah, you just got to move on, I guess, in those situations. And any particular note that marked for you a before and an after?
Yes, it's a very sad note. I even have the videos of this kid. We have a horrendous crime here in Miami. It's a father that basically shot his wife, his mother-in-law, the grandmother, and they have a newborn baby that was, I think, 10 weeks old, a small little child, not even a month. It wasn't even a month, 4 months, 4 weeks, something. Newborn. And the police couldn't find the baby and couldn't find the guy, and then they find the guy dead. He shot himself, and we never find the baby. They have never find the baby. I think that happened like probably 6 months ago. And when I went to visit the family, the sister and daughter of these family members, they were showing me the videos of this little child, and I was crying. I was interviewing them crying. And I have to compose myself to go on there and listen, this is baby Andrew, and you're gonna watch his images, his video. Please, if you see this baby. And I think, how can you not be touched by that and change your life and change the way you see the world? What can I take from that? It's like, there's evil people in this world. Period. There's no, what else can you say, with something like that? What happened in that mind of that guy? How can you be so cruel? Not only killing these ladies, but killing your own baby. If that what has happened, nobody knows. Maybe he left the kid in I don't know where. Nobody knows. Wow. We even contact a detective that is a friend of mine that works for a missing children organization. I contacted him directly, and he was helping the family. And he was telling me, listen, it's gone. So when you heard those words, it's like, it's impossible. The kid couldn't survive it was in a camp, like anywhere. So it was very sad. It's sad. But again, you have to keep going. But see, I have the video and picture of baby Andrew, and sometimes I watch the videos and I cry, and I pray God that his soul is a much better place than this world.
Yeah, well, hey, thank you very much just for getting so involved and for sharing this kind of information with us, for being so open and vulnerable. We really, really appreciate it, So Diane, please go ahead.
Diana, how have you managed to get ahead in those moments when you feel depressed?
Well, I think I have managed very well because I know the symptoms. See, there's some, and I think that's very important. Sometimes, you're sad. I just lost my cat. That was my beloved pet for 8 years. And that day I wanted to run myself and outside of this, looking for help for my cat. But I knew I was sad that I had my cat was gone, but I didn't feel that, oh my gosh, I want to die with my cat. I think everybody will know the difference when it's a sadness and a depression. What happened? You don't want to get out. You don't want to take a shower. Sometimes you don't want to eat. People invite you to go out, you don't want to go out. And you feel that you cannot really deal with life. For example, I get in the very bad humor, you know. I have a very bad temper. usually I'm like, well, when I'm with depression, I'm like a pantera, you know, like a panther. Everything bothers me. But obviously, I know something is happening. For example, again, if I lose my job, maybe I cannot cope very well with that. See, I know that I may gonna need help. Or if I start feeling anxious, I start talking to friends. I have friends that are coaches, life coaches, or psychologists, and I usually ahead of time, before I get into deep depression, I talk to specialists or friends, and they start helping me, you know, looking the situation in another way. For every time that I have lost jobs, I guess as many of you guys, that you love, and that's for me, it's been difficult to deal with. And when a friend tells me, hey, listen, when one door closes, another door opens, and let's help you out. What else do you want to do? Let's do a list. Let's call this. I have had really good friends that have helped me a lot. So I will recommend everybody have like a small team, your help team, you know. Maybe it's your mother, maybe it's your best friend, maybe it's a mentor, somebody that you admire. Listen, this is happening to me. Can you help me? Usually people is going to say, you know, yes, I can. Let's see what's going on with you.
Well, awesome.
Yeah.
Actually, that's one of our goals with Quantum Family, is create that kind of open-mindedness, that kind of, if anybody needs something, you know, it doesn't matter if we are in different parts of the world, we are here together, and we are here to be a support. We are here to talk about positivity and talk about good stuff. So please, Debbie, go ahead to your next question.
It's kind of piggybacks on what you were just saying. Is how, you know, how can family members of the depressed, how does someone cope with a family member who's depressed? How do you know they're depressed? You know, is it just that they're quiet, or, you know, or what are the symptoms that you could tell if someone's depressed, and what is our role or their role in helping their family member?
Well, that's a really, really good question. And I know sometimes it's very difficult to help somebody, first of all, that doesn't accept that is sick. And second of all, that does not want any help. Because first of all, doesn't accept he's sick and he doesn't want any help. I just got a call from a good friend of mine that used to be my boss, and she told me that her cousin was very depressed and she wanted to help. And I was like, well, let's talk to her. And she's like, she doesn't accept she has a problem. She doesn't want to accept it. Well, talk to her husband, talk to her family, talk to somebody that can help her out. If not, that doesn't work, then take her out, sit with her in any cafeteria, Starbucks, whatever, drink a coffee with that person and tell her, listen, I'm worried. I'm really worried. I'm seeing you bad. You're not taking a shower. You're not eating. You're losing weight. I don't see you moving. I think you are in a depression state. Why you don't go and see this psychologist, this person? I'll go with you. I have talked to friends and say, listen, I'll go with you. Let's go. I'll help you. People have said yes, and people have said, no, I'm not going to tell anybody my problems. They don't know anything about me. How they're going to help me? Exactly. They don't know anything about you. It's better for them. There's going to be like a new start. You're going to be free to speak with that person. Maybe the things that you have in your heart and mind, you're not even telling me, and you don't have to. But to the doctor, you can do it. And I always recommend doctors. I'm so sorry for any other professionals. but I really believe in science and the mind, our mind, it's something for the science to study, and they have studied the mind, you know, and I think those are the ones that really have to take care of it. I do not believe, I'm a religious person, but I do not believe that I go to a pastor or a priest is going to help me. But if you feel that's the way to go, do it.
Right.
You know,
Right.
just look for help.
Talk to someone. That's good advice. And it's also good advice that you say, keep persisting and keep, you know, keep at them and keep asking.
I think, Debbie, nothing must be saddest in a family member that, because I have had the situations that they knew their family, their loved ones were having problems. They knew it, but they just weren't able to help. They would say, well, I saw they were sad, but I never say anything because she was going to tell me what, that's not my problem. It is your problem. It's your cousin. It's your family. It's your son. It's your daughter. Then it is your problem. I think we need to stop being so selfish, you know? Oh, that's not my situation. I'm not going to get into. No, get involved. If you really care for that person, even if you don't, even if it's your neighbor, why you don't want to help your neighbor?
Yeah.
Huh? At least that's the way I feel.
Yes, no, it's true. It's true. It's
obviously, don't bother in and keep, because that could be also, you know, like a harassment, you know, but try to help.
Definitely. I totally agree with you. And you know, you are a journalist, and let's face it, for some of us that live in the United States, all of a sudden the word fake news became part of our vocabulary. I don't remember that being the case many years ago. However, it is a vocabulary today, it's our reality. So that's what we live into. So for us as a professional journalist, how can we be prepared or where can we find real information, and how does this term has affected your work?
Well, I think it has affected us a lot. First of all, because it is true. Some news are fake. Let's say it. Some news are fake. I have family members from Mexico calling me, oh, it is true that the Clorox is helping the coronavirus. I'm like, are you serious? Are you freaking serious? Yes, you have to take Clorox. Where do you read that? Oh, in the newspaper. Come on. Yeah, it is true. So what's the best way to do? Again, look for information. Go to serious sites. Don't take one single note for true. I've been working, as you know, for several years. I'm an investigative reporter. So that's why I know I have to doubt everything I read and everything everybody says to me. I'm like, no, I don't think so. Let me investigate. If it doesn't sound good to me, drinking Clorox, that doesn't make any sense. I'm so sorry. And then I'm going to investigate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, coffee helps you keep you awake. Oh, yes, that's been for years. Come on. I think it's common sense. Common sense. Look for information in serious sites. Try, again, be proactive in what you're going to do, in your decisions, the way you're going to manage yourself. You can love Anderson Cooper and you can love Diane Sawyer, but you have to doubt. And everybody, now everybody with a phone is a reporter. Think about
They think they are.
because they take the video here, I'm here, I'm looking at, I have had the situation, I've been there. I've been with guys that they are not even reporters, they are filming, the same I'm filming, and they are saying what they are seeing, but they don't know anything, the behind the scenes that's happening, why the police is acting like that, why the mother is crying, why, and then people, oh, I saw this in the video. And we have seen in the different episodes that we have lately in different news, and they put one video and then, oh, there's the other video. Oh, there's the mother saying, oh, you know, wait, and then investigate.
Wow. Okay. Thank you very much. That makes a lot of sense. So Diane, please go ahead.
What advice would you give to a person who is seeing us right now and is going through a depression?
Well, I would say the same. I think we've been very categoric here today that looking for help. if you feel sad, if you feel depressed, if you feel there's something, sometimes people doesn't even say, I'm sad. They know there's something wrong with them, with their emotions, but they don't know what's going on. And if you are that person, if this message is right now getting to you saying, I may be that person. I don't want to take a shower. I don't want to wake up. I'm losing weight. I don't want to eat. I don't want to go out. I feel that there's no hope. Then you may be in a depressed state. And if you are in that depressed state, just go and look for help. Talk to someone that you trust. It doesn't even have to be someone that you love, but someone that you trust. Oh, wow. You trust in your boss. Talk to your boss. You trust in your teacher. Talk to your teacher. I know so many cases here in the United States on kids that they do not tell their parents they want to commit suicide, but they have talked to their teachers, you know? And you will say, why a child, 13 years old, 12 years old, would like to commit suicide? You are starting to live, your life is just wonderful. Because there's something in your mind that is not working, it's not functioning. But it's help, it's hope, there's medicine. And if we have all those things together, the only thing that's gonna come out from that is the cure for your sadness.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you. That actually makes a lot of sense. And, you know, I love the part where you're mentioning somebody who you trust. That's key. That's key. That's one of the things that's very, very, very important. So, Debbie, please go ahead.
Yes, so this goes right into that. So when should a depressed person take medication? Earlier you said some people will take medication, others won't. When do you know that you should take medication or a person should take medication? What are the side effects of antidepressants?
Well, again, I'm not an expert. I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatric, but in my experience, the first thing is that taking the medication, if the doctor gives you the medication. I think that when you feel depressed and you feel sick or you feel you are not functioning well, you are forgetting things. There's so many symptoms of depression. I keep forgetting and something. And then when you talk to a doctor, they may refer you to a specialist, and that specialist is going to say, okay, let's take it from here. What's happening to you? Do you feel this, like a questionnaire? I think everybody has gone to that situation, doctors. And do you have problems with sleeping? Yes. Do you have problems eating? Yes. Do you have, and then when they get to that point, they may say, listen, we're going to give you an antidepressive or an anxiolytic or nothing. I think you're going to take care of vitamin B and that's going to help you out. It is true, but that's why for me it's so important that all the mental issues, all the emotional issues, all things that has to deal with our emotions, the way we feel, we go to a doctor, to somebody that really can help you and say, hey, you have a chemical disbalance in your mind, and for that, you're gonna take this or that medication. People joke a lot. I'm bipolar, it's not a joke, I mean, seriously. Take a Xanax. No, first of all, you cannot find a Xanax and take it like that, you know? It's just go to a doctor and see what the doctor says to you. They may recommend you exercise. Let me tell you something, with this pandemic, I've been working from home. Thank God I have been working almost a year from home. So I was prepared. Since last August, I was working from home basically all day. And I was just going to do my reports when the producers talked to me and, hey, you have to go out, whatever. So I've been in my house for many months. At one moment you start like, what I'm gonna do? I start doing exercises, taking flamenco classes. I hate cooking. I was even cooking, you know, trying to change and help yourself. Right. Say, what do I need? Well, I need to look younger. I need to look skinnier. I need to look healthier. I need to learn Italian. I want to live in Spain. I'm gonna learn how to dance flamenco. I'm the worst flamenco dancer, the worst. The teacher is like, oh, Okay, now dance, try to dance. You're moving, okay, just try to dance. And that has made me happier, a happier person, I will say that. And it's helping me cope with all these, am I gonna have a work? Am I gonna have a job tomorrow? Am I gonna get coronavirus? The other day I was watching CNN, and every time that the guy was saying, you know what? I have a pain here. Oh, I have the pain. Oh, now I have a pain here. Oh, yeah. It had happened to you because everybody's listening. Everybody says, oh, I was feeling pain in my chest. And I start feeling the pain. I'm like, I shouldn't be watching this because this is making me crazy. Yeah. So, try to fill your life with positive things. I know there's a lot of comments and, every single day we're trying to give this positive and positive, but it is true. We have to, because if not, we're gonna become more and more depressed because the situation is not common. Let's put it that way.
Needless to say, it's not common, but we will cope with it. And I love the idea of exercise. I myself even learned how to work out at home. So it's just to be accommodating. We know that you have been a very, very successful journalist. You have had lots of awards. Among all the awards you have got was the Emmy Award, which is definitely one of the biggest things you can ever get in any career, especially on TV, So congratulations on that. I am very, very proud to see a Latina getting an Emmy Award. It makes me like, yes, love it. But can you tell us, share with us, what did you feel? What were your thoughts? What did you see? What was in your mind through that particular process in your life?
Well, I think, I'm of course, it's a very proud moment in the life of everybody when you get recognized, recognition from the work you have done. But at the end, at least for me as a reporter, the best recognition I can have is really helping my community. For example, doing this interview is success for me. Why? Because something that I wrote, you guys read it, and you guys invited me to talk about this specific situation, that this specific mental issue, and I believe that's part of my success as a journalist. Telling the people, when I was a child, all I wanted to do was tell the people stories to everybody. I think every single person has something to say. Every single person has a very important story in their life, and that needs to be listened, that needs to be shared with the world. And then we all can learn from it. I think, every time I go outside, I love talking to people, and specific to when I share, do the stories, and talk to my stars in the story. It's a learning thing. And again, an award is just an award that if you don't put the passion, I think the big actors that have won Oscars will say the same. And yes, it's nice, but the nicer thing is being able to do what you love, telling the people stories, helping the community, and keep sharing your thoughts and your story. For me, being able to write my blog without anybody telling me what to write is a success. Coming from a country that we have a lot of censure, and you couldn't talk about this, or women, I talk about, Diane knows, I work or talk a lot and write a lot, feminism and sex, and being a single after 40, and, coping with 2 kids, and now are 2 teens, and, it's, and being a mother, and being Catholic, and being promiscuous, and being, so it's because it's the life, My mother will say, oh my God, I didn't expect you to get divorced.
I did.
I did it, yeah. So I think that's the things that we all here, like all our writers, I would say. I haven't write a book. I wrote a book that I haven't published it, and but the way that you guys that are writers, you know that importance of telling the stories. And I think that's the success, you know.
Also, you're so correct. Honestly, I kind of wrote my book for myself because I had so much feelings, so much stuff that I needed to put somewhere out. And once I start putting all writing, is when it just came out. And next thing I know, I had a book. So that's the way it worked for me. So for all the people who are listening to us, how can we get into your blog, support you? What's the best way to follow all the amazing stuff and work you've been doing?
Well, I have my own blog, as I said. I write in my blog is dianamontano.com. I also write a lot in Facebook. And sometimes the things that I write on Facebook become part of my blog, the stories that I share. And sometimes I see something, I put it in Instagram, and then I get an idea, oh, I'm gonna write this. So in Instagram, I'm there like Diana Montano News. And then I have the Facebook page and I have my blog. Basically, I think you have said something that is real. I think all the writers, we write for us. Our problems, our emotions, our situations, I don't write. The other day I have a friend and she goes, oh, why you don't write a blog about me? What about you? Oh, listen, this happened to me. And she had a very nice story. And I said, yes, absolutely. It's like, and I even joke about it. I always say I would grow what I want and about, everything that happens to me. But in this situation, specifically, I'm writing because somebody asked me to do this and help her out. So I think reading the stories, I found fascinating when people can learn from other persons. I mean, Diana, as I was saying, her trilogy of books on maternity and how to deal with that, and being in another country without your family, or Debbie that's writing about beauty, in old age, as you say. I love it. I always saying, I want to age with dignity. Mm-hmm. Right? I want to age, and everybody's saying, oh, look at that lady, has 17 years old. Oh my God. One day I was coming back from a flight from France, and in front of me was this lady with a beautiful high heels. I just was walking, I saw the high heels, but huge high heels, beautiful. And then I saw the lady, and she had this jacket, like leather jacket, and a very skinny tight pants. And I was, wow, what? She looks so nice. And when she goes and look at me, she was easily 90 years old. Wow. And when I saw this lady walking on those high heels in an airport in France, and I was in my jeans and my tennis shoes, like all looking American, I was like ashamed. I'm like, oh my, and she was all full of makeup with her hair and looking beautiful, representing the beauty of the ladies of France. I was, my God, that's what, I want to be that lady. How I'm going to do it? Well, I have to exercise, to lose my weight, and again, use high heels, And what I believe is, again, the writing about those subjects. Why do we need to be old and to look bad and to
There's simple things you could do. Exactly, simple things you could do to continue to feel and look beautiful.
I think everybody, Debbie, must. I think we're obligated. Let's think about this. If God has given us this wonderful opportunity to be part of this world, mm-hmm. to survive this pandemic, to survive all these situations, I think we have an obligation on be a better version of ourselves each single day. It's an obligation. We should wake up every single morning, at least that's what I do. I swear to God, every single morning, I'm like, God, thank you very much. Thank you for Diego, for Angela, for my cat, for my whatever I want to think about it. And then help me be better today. Be better every single day of my life in everything I do. I may not have the job of my dreams today. Today, that doesn't mean tomorrow is not going. I'm not gonna have it, right? Maybe today I don't have that house with a big piscina or but maybe tomorrow, or maybe never. Love what you have, give thanks, and try to be better every single day. And that includes aging. And I love that the title of your book, in every single way you can.
Thank you. Thank you. It's very well said.
Awesome. Well, we want to thank you everybody who took the time to listen to us, you know. So as you guys know, we are Quantum Family. We are available. You can find this in Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, you know. Please share. You never know who you can help with this kind of talks. That's why we are here. So please, you made it this far into the video, please share. We will be sharing all your information. Diana, thank you very much for being with us. And we'll see you guys soon.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you.
Thank you.